That's what I got tonight, baby. Oh, so it's a mess, but I finally figured something out. I was like, how am I going to house this thing? So here's the original housing for the Rock Band 4 drum kit. And what I have to have from this would be, I have to have that because that's for the drum, for the kick pedal. And I need access to these three for the hi-hat. I mean, not the hi-hats, the pro cymbals. So the little triangle buttons. And then this, I can move this somewhere else. That's just a resync button, if it'll focus. That's just to resync it. But anyway. And then I was like, well, what about the batteries? So the battery housing is just two 3-volt, two AA's, right? It won't focus, but it's two AA's. And I said, well, two AA's, if I mount it the way I'm thinking about mounting it, I can still use this. But this will only power the brain. It won't do the LEDs, the cool little LEDs for the push buttons. Because see, these light up. Where's one that's not hooked up? I haven't hooked them all up yet. So see, these buttons actually light up. This is the positive and the negative for the switch to complete the circuit. But then these two on the side, it's a positive and negative for the LED button. So it would push enough power to light it up and power the brain. The only problem is you're going to run out of battery quick. So then I thought, well, I'm going to house this thing. Let me show you how I'm going to house this thing. So I'm going to keep the original housing like this. And I'm probably going to cut out a custom piece of wood, but I'm just kind of prototyping with cardboard. And so as you can see, it goes just like that. So yeah, and then I can use the original screws, all the screws, and screw it in here, keep everything. I don't have to use hot glue and make it look unprofessional. But as you can see, it doesn't sit flush. See? Because that right there, it sits flush there for everything else, right? This is for some reason this part is raised, and I know why. It's because where it hooks up at on the original drum kit, that's where the PlayStation button and all the other buttons were, and for some reason I guess they needed extra housing for all that stuff. So with cardboard, I could just bend it like that and just sort of kind of jerry rig this into place like so. But then it just, I don't like it. I don't like the way that looks, right? So, and plus I'm going to be using wood for the final piece. So, oh yeah, I'm going to go back to the batteries in a minute. But, so then I was like, well, maybe we can just, what I might end up doing is dremeling off this back piece from here all the way across. And then we will just close it off right there. Because I'm moving the buttons. Like everything that was on the top is moving. I'm replacing most of it with arcade buttons anyway. But the original X, triangle, circle buttons and the PlayStation button are all going to be moved, you know, somewhere on here. So I'm not really worried about tearing this up. What may actually be easier, come to think of it, is if I just Dremel this flush right here all the way down, and so I could still use this screw hole. Well, I had to rethread it. Yeah, I had to rethread it, but I could still use that. Yeah, I'm trying to get this damn thing to focus and it won't focus. Boop. Boop. Anyway, so I mean, yeah, I think I'm okay with doing that. So back to the batteries. So I'm going to keep the original base. I'm going to keep this, but as you can see, I have taken the main board off. So all I have to do is resolder the positive and negatives back to the board. That's an easy thing. But what do you do about the LEDs for the arcade buttons? Well, a lot of the main board's going to be moved. It's going to probably be over, I don't know, I haven't really figured the main board out because I have to keep the main board kind of close to the top because of the buttons, the directional buttons, the X, triangle, circle buttons. So I got to keep that board flush with whatever I mount it to, right? But I'm still going to have a lot more space in here. So I thought, well, in order to light these LEDs up, I would just do this. So these come out of an old LED flashlight. This nifty little thing. And I was like, well, I can just wire up take some network cable and solder it to the positive and the negative. Positive is the dark color. And I hot glued all that. And as you can see, there's batteries in it. And plop that in there. And, you know, well, I need to make it accessible, actually, now that I come to think about it. So it's probably going to be somewhere out here. And I'll run those wires through those little crevices there. But I've got 3 of these little cases for these batteries. So what I'll probably end up doing is I'll probably do this one will power probably 3 or 4 buttons. Because in total, I'm going to have 7 buttons. So 3 buttons on one and 4 buttons on the other. And that'll cover all 7. Because I don't want to drain. I mean, you know, I want them to stay lit up as long as possible. I don't want to have to change batteries all the time. So they look really cool. I'm going to hook this up real quick. And I'll show you how cool it looks. Just hold on a second. There we go. It's hooked up to that battery pack. It's nice and bright. I can hook these up in series or in parallel, and it's gonna look, the finished product's gonna look really cool because I have all of the original colors of the Rock Band kit, the red, yellow, blue, green. I have arcade buttons for all those, right? There's green. Let me show you blue. This is my favorite one. The blue and the green are my favorite colors. Let's see that. It's gonna look so cool when it's finally all hooked up and ready to go. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. And I think over this weekend, maybe I can have most of it put together. I've got the wood, I just have to cut it. But I'm gonna prototype it with the cardboard tonight, try to get a good layout. And then I'm gonna use the wood that I have, hook it all up. And it's going to look really nice. And then I get to play Rock Band again with a drum kit. Oh, it won't be a drum kit. It'll be an arcade drum kit. But I've kind of done this project before. And I never finished it because the old brain screwed up. So wasn't able to finish it. But here it is, all the stuff. So that's it's my project for this weekend.